Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We're starting with page number 220, Medieval India NCERT, Language, Literature and Music. The important role of Persian and Sanskrit as vehicles of thought and government at the all India level and the development of regional languages, largely as a result of growth of the Bhakti movement, have already been mentioned. Regional languages also developed due to the patronage extended to them by local and regional rulers. These trends continued during the 16th and 17th century. By the time of Akbar, knowledge of Persian had become so widespread in North India that he dispensed with the tradition of keeping revenue records in local language, Hindavi, in addition to Persian. However, the tradition of keeping revenue records in the local language continued in the Deccani states till their extinction in the last quarter of the 17th century. Persian prose and poetry reached a climax under Akbar's reign. Abul Fazl, who was a great scholar and a stylist, as well as the leading historian of the age, set a style of prose writing which was emulated for many generations. The leading poet of the age was his brother Faizi, who also helped in Akbar's translation department. The translation of Mahabharata was carried out under his supervision. Utbi and Naziri were the two other leading Persian poets. Though born in Persia, they were among the many poets and scholars who migrated from Iran to India during the period and made the Mughal court one of the cultural centers of the Islamic world. Hindus also contributed to the growth of Persian literature. Apart from literary and historical works, a number of famous dictionaries of the Persian language were also compiled during the period. Although not much significant and original work done in Sanskrit during the period, the number of Sanskrit works produced during the period is quite impressive. As before, most of the works were produced in South and East India and the patronage of local rulers, though a few were produced by Brahmins employed in the translation department of the emperors. Regional languages acquired stability and maturity in some of the finest lyrical poetry was produced during this period. The dalliance of Krishna with Radha and the milkmaids, the pranks of child Krishna and stories from Bhagavad figure largely in lyrical poetry in Bengali, Odia, Hindi, Rajasthani, Gujarati during this period. Many devotional hymns to Ram were also composed, and Ramayana and the Mahabharata translated into regional languages, especially if they have not been translated earlier. A few translations and adaptations from Persian were also made. Both Hindus and Muslims contributed in this. Thus, Alol composed in Bengali and also translated from Persian. In Hindi, the Padmavat, the story written by Sufi saint Malik Muhammad Jaisi, used the attack of Alauddin Khilji on Chittor as an allegory to expound Sufi ideas on the relations of soul with God, along with Hindu ideas about Maya. Medieval Hindi in the bridge form, that is the dialect spoken in the neighborhood of Agra, was also patronized by the Mughal emperors and Hindu rulers. From the time of Akbar, Hindi poets began to be attached to the Mughal court. A leading Mughal noble, Abdur Rahim Khan-e-Khanan, produced a fine blend of Bhakti poetry with Persian idea of life and human relations. Thus, the Persian and Hindi literary traditions began to influence each other. But the most influential Hindi poet was Tulsidas, whose hero was Ram and who used a dialect of Hindi spoken in eastern parts of Uttar Pradesh. Pleading for a modified caste system based not on birth but on individual qualities, Tulsi was essentially a humanistic poet who upheld family ideals and complete devotion to Ram as a way of salvation open to all, irrespective of the caste. In South India, Malayalam started its literary career as a separate language in its own right. Marathi reached its apogee at the hands of Eknath and Tukaram. Asserting the importance of Marathi, Eknath exclaims, if Sanskrit was made by God, was Parakrit born of thieves and knaves? Let these errings of vanity alone. God is no partisan of tongues. To him, Parakrit and Sanskrit are alike. My language Marathi is worthy of expressing the highest sentiment and is rich, laden with fruits of divine knowledge. This undoubtedly expresses the sentiments of all those writing in local languages. It also shows the confidence and the status acquired by these languages. Due to the writings of Sikh gurus, Punjabi received a new life. Music. Another branch of cultural life in which Hindus and Muslims cooperated was music. Akbar patronized Tansen of Gwalior, who credited with composing many new melodies, ragas. Jahangir and Shah Jahan, as well as many Mughal nobles, followed this example. There are many apocryphal stories about the burial of music by the orthodox Aurangzeb. Recent research shows that Aurangzeb banished singing from his court, but not playing of musical instruments. In fact, Aurangzeb himself was an accomplished veena player. Music in all forms continued to be patronized by Aurangzeb's queens in the harem and by the nobles. That is why the largest number of books on classical Indian music in Persian were written during Aurangzeb's reign. But some of the most important developments in the field of music took place later in the 18th century during the reign of Muhammad Shah, 1719 to 1748. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the next part, we'll start with religious ideas and beliefs and problems of integration. Thank you, all the best, and do share and subscribe to the channel and keep supporting us. Thank you everyone.